Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki Wenzer and I am a gut health coach. And I help you identify healthy eating habits and lifestyle medicine that can improve your gut health and your overall well-being. Now today, for the latest episode of Culinary Wellness Wisdom, I'm talking about bitters. So what do you know about bitters? Now, if you're shouting cocktails at me, then yes, bitters are essential in modern drinks mixology. But do you know why? So in a cocktail bar, a bottle of bitters is one of the most utilised ingredients that is used in a range of different cocktails. They're a type of spirit, usually made from a neutral grain spirit that has been infused with botanicals, which is just a collective word for fruits, spices, leaves, bark, roots and herbs. So bitters are alcoholic and they have a high alcohol content, usually around 45%. So aromatic bitters are popular in mixology. So they use carefully selected aromatic botanicals and they impart a more complex flavour profile on the cocktail. They also serve to balance out sweet and sour flavours. So if you're not too young, you will probably be familiar with aperitifs and digestives. So an aperitif is a drink that's enjoyed before a meal. They tend to be dry or bitter, and they're designed to wake up the digestive system and stimulate appetite. A digestive gets served at the end of a meal, and they tend to be more bittersweet, and they'll often contain like stomach settling herbs and spices. Now, they've fallen out of fashion in recent years, but you will still find them often offered in traditional and more upscale restaurants where they still uphold the value of these drinks to maximise the enjoyment of your meal. But where did bitters originate from? Well, let's take a step back first. There's 5 different tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and more recently, umami has been added. And they're identified by different taste receptors in the mouth. Now, these taste receptors send a message to the brain, and based on the information provided, we can decide whether or not the food or drink is safe to eat. Now, many different bitter substances are poisonous. So our perceptors of bitter, our perception it's a lot more complex to help us determine which bitters are safe and which are not. Now, bitters have long been recognised as being beneficial to our health, and there is a long history of use for soothing digestive issues like bloating, gas, for stimulating digestion and for detoxing. It was a common medicine that was provided by your herbalist where, depending on your malady or your illness, different bitter substances infused in this grain spirit would have been provided as a tonic. In the 1800s, bitters started to get mass produced, and one that you may be familiar with that's making a comeback today in modern cocktail mixology is Angostura bitters. So we come full circle. So Angostura bitters are in a small bottle that you'll find in most supermarkets, and it's got like an oldie worldy feel to it. It's got like I think it's still got a paper wrapping with lots of information on it. But it was originally created in Venezuela as a stimulant for the troops, and it was to help them combat malaria and to keep them alert and ready for action. I learned about bitters when I studied medicinal plants in Costa Rica. They are still highly regarded by herbalists today, and herbs such as golden seal, valerian, yarrow, chamomile, sorrel and chicory are used for a variety of ailments. I mean, I keep a number of these in my apothecary. I keep them as dried herbs, and I also make my own herb infusions. It's what bitters are. It is this, for example, is a plant called ombre grande or bitterwood. It's one of the most bitter plants in the world, and I take the bark, I put it into alcohol. This one was put into a grain alcohol that a friend of mine made. Usually vodka is used for its neutral taste. And then it's infused. So it's basically medicinal plants infused in alcohol, which is what bitters are. But the bitters like Angostura bitters that you buy are a blend of different botanicals. Unfortunately, in modern food production, the bitter taste has been substituted for more pleasurable flavours like sweet and salty. But at what cost? Well, digestive health for sure is suffering for this trend. Now, I'm sure most of you drink coffee and tea, which are both naturally bitter. How many of you add sugar? Cacao is naturally bitter, but sugar and milk are commonly added when making chocolate to sweeten it. Now, fortunately, sugar is under the spotlight, as it rightly should be, due to the high risks it poses so many people. It's actually a higher risk factor than fat with regards to obesity. And a number of people are trying to reduce added sugars in their diet. So have a think back, how much sugar did you put in your coffee 10 years ago compared to today? How much chocolate do you now eat? And have you switched to eating chocolate that's at least 70% cacao? Reducing sugar is so much healthier for us, and we get to benefit from the bitter taste of these naturally bitter foods. If you want proof that bitters help digestion, just think about how often your first cup of coffee in the morning triggers a bowel movement. And this is because coffee is bitter, and bitter substances stimulate and get the digestive system moving. In addition to helping digestion, bitter foods lower the risk of many diseases, including cancer, heart disease and diabetes, and they help eye and liver health. Liver for its detoxification ability. So common bitter foods that are good for you include bitter melon. Now this one, it's a green, bumpy, cucumber-shaped melon that you may have seen in supermarkets like Waitrose or in an Asian supermarket. It's common in Asian cuisine. Now it's packed with phytochemicals that have been shown to slow the growth of various types of cancer, and it is used in natural medicine to help lower blood sugar levels. Cruciferous vegetables, including broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, radishes, and rocket, arugula, they all help in the detoxification process. Dandelion greens are not just food for the bees at this time of year and a curse for lovers of the perfect lawn, but they're edible and they're really highly nutritious, including being a great bitter. You can use dandelion greens as you would rocket or kale, and they're great for the beneficial bacteria in our guts. Peel. So the peel of citrus fruits and that white pith that's underneath the skin, they're bitter. Now, I recently posted a recipe on my social media on how to make preserved lemons. And as you only use the peel, this is a great source of bitters. So do go and have a look on my, I think it's on Instagram and on my Facebook page. And I think I posted it on my Facebook group, if you'll remember. Cranberries are a bitter berry. And that's why you don't tend to eat them like you eat blueberries. They're primarily used in a sauce, your cranberry sauce, and a lot of sugar is added. But cranberries naturally help bacterial infections, and it's often used for urinary tract infections and in cases of H. pylori infection, which is a stomach bacteria that is linked to causing ulcers. So as I said earlier, cacao and cocoa, so where chocolate's coming from, they're highly nutritious bitters. They're rich in polyphenols, in antioxidants, and in trace minerals. So you can, instead of the chocolate, why don't you try adding cacao nibs to your breakfast bowl or to your smoothie? And switch to dark chocolate, preferably with at least 70% cacao. Green tea is incredibly healthy, and it gets its bitter properties from the high amounts of catechin and polyphenols in it. And last I'm going to mention is red wine, bitter due to the polyphenols like the tannins. So don't shy away from bitter foods. They are really valuable to your health. So I recommend that you embrace them and eat at least some without disguising them with sugar. Let me know if you eat bitter foods. What's your favourite? Do you are you lower in sugar? It'd be really interesting to know what of these things that you're taking on board and trying. All right, I'll see you next week with another episode. Take care and have a great week. Bye.